Welcome once more, Biafrans, lovers of freedom. Today happened to be a very historic day, a day where the PM Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu were both in court. Both of them were in court today, and they were in court to represent the people of Biafra and speak for Biafra, not just for themselves, not just to defend themselves, but to defend Biafra. So many things happened. There was international observers from US in Nigeria to observe what is happening with the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and then also in Finland, the case of Simon Ekpa, I think, was concluded today, and then on Wednesday next week there would be the final hearing for his bail conditions to be heard. Then the final hearing will happen in September, but nobody knows if there's going to be proceedings in between the months before September. But what they have reported is that September will be the final hearing, but on Wednesday next week will be for his bail conditions. So hopefully next week, Wednesday, Simon Ekpa, if he meets the bail condition, he will be free that Wednesday, or if he doesn't meet the bail conditions on time, then before the week runs out, he will be freed. So that is what transpired in court today. So let's run you down through, the nitty-gritty of what happened in court. A particular man known as Chinedu Onwukwe, presented himself to stand witness against Mazi Simon Ekpa, and then certain things was said. He said that Simon Ekpa killed people in Aba, and he was then asked to prove it, but he couldn't even provide one tangible proof that Simon Ekpa was responsible for those police officers who were killed in Obikabe, Aba. And the prosecutor, that is the lawyer representing the Nigerian government, presented printed materials gotten from the PM's ex-handle. He printed so many materials and presented in court saying that these are, evidences against Mazi Simon Ekpa. Then the lawyers representing Simon Ekpa asked him, so what are, the causes of these actions? What do you think caused this action? You can't just cherry pick on what you want. You should also, pick those things that led to the actions that were taken, or led to, the support for those actions that were taken against the Nigerian military, because they presented that Simon Ekpa was responsible for buying several military officers in the southeastern part of Nigeria. So that was what transpired. And they now asked him to provide evidences, because remember, I do tell us here that some of these people who come online to make broadcasts, you must be aware of what we are doing. You must be intelligent. You must be informed. You always remember that I said Simon Ekpa does not come out to say we are going to buy this person, we are going to buy. He doesn't do that. What Simon Ekpa would always say when he comes for his emergency broadcast is, we have had reports and we have seen reports that the Fulanis have gone to so and so community and they have killed so many Biafran in so and so places. With that, we are giving a seat at home and we are telling the Biafran people to defend themselves. So whatever Simon Ekpa is always saying, he's always saying under self-defense. You must defend yourself as a human being. You can't stand as a human being and allow someone else to come and kill you just like that. It is not possible. So it is a natural law and an international law that everyone should defend him or herself. So it is not a crime that Simon would request for people to defend themselves. So the judge waived that and said that if he wants to present, because for every action there is for every reaction you see, there is always an action. There's always an action somewhere that has caused that reaction that you are seeing. So the lawyer of the Nigerian government does not want to present what caused it, the actual action that caused the reaction that he went to pick from the from PM's speech. So the same Chinedu Onwukwe said that Simon Ekpa placed sit at home, but he said he placed sit at home, and the sit at home is causing so many killings and unrest in the southeast. The judge then told him that even in Finland, sit at home is a civic right of the people to, air their views and air their frustration on whatever the government is doing that they are not, in support of. So that is never a crime anywhere in the world. Sit at home is a tool. It's a tool to drive home your grievances to the government. So the judge waived that. Then they now said that Mazi Simon Ekpa bought guns. They now accused him of buying guns. Then the judge asked them, do you have evidence to this claim? They didn't present any tangible evidence to the claim. So before you can say somebody bought gun, you must at least present receipt of that gun, where he bought the gun, because guns are not sold like that. You present receipt of where he bought the gun, how he purchased the gun, how he sent the gun down to. They have nothing. They had no evidence at all, and so that was also swept under the carpet because it lacks merit. It lacks merit. So these are the things. Later, the Biafran people were then asked to, excuse the court for some minutes for them to do their final decision on the case. And then people who were there also reported that at some point the prosecutor, that is the lawyer representing Nigeria, was now begging the judge that Simon Ekpa should at least be sentenced for 4 months. You can imagine this nonsense. They are now begging for at least 4 months, that Simon Ekpa should be jailed for 4 months. But that is no longer possible because they have already made their decision that next week, Wednesday, will be to finalize the bail conditions for Simon Ekpa. So that was what happened in the case of Simon Ekpa today. By the end of this, once Simon Ekpa wins this case, they are going to pay him damages. They are going to pay him damage for his time wasted, for the torture, for keeping him out of his family and all, for all the money he's supposed to have made throughout that period. They are going to accumulate all these things, and the Nigerian government will pay. So they will feel the heat very soon. They will feel the heat very soon. So the final court proceeding will happen in September, but by God's grace, after that of Wednesday, more information will come about if it's going to be if there are going to be court hearings, within months before the September, or it is just going to be one court hearing in September and the final judgment will be made. So that is that for the case of Simon Ekpa. And let's move forward to that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They tried their possible best to stop, transcription of court proceedings in Nigeria. These are very archaic people. When things are supposed to be a case like this that is supposed to be heard by the whole world, they are trying to, cage all information and try to prevent people from getting information on what is happening in court and how the court proceedings are going. But then there are some American, international observers that were in court today to observe what was actually going on in court. So they asked Mazi Nnamdi Kanu about transmitter. They said he brought in transmitter and that it is illegal for you to bring in transmitter into Nigeria, that you must get approval from the NBC, Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, and all before you can bring in transmitter to the country. All those kind of nonsense. Then they now went ahead to say the Imo prison, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was the one who gave directive for the Imo prison break to happen, that he was responsible for killing of police officers and for the prison break. They asked them of concrete evidence to this. They can't provide any evidence to this. Then I went further to present the confession of Unyami. They presented the confession of Unyami and said that Unyami said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu directed them to use 2,000 heads to bury General Ikonso. Then they now asked him, these confessions that you are presenting, did you see this man? Did you, have any interaction with this person that you have presented his confessions? And the witness said no, that he has not, had any communication with this person. So you could see that whatever they are coming in to the court with is just based on fallacy, lies, cooked up stories, no evidence. all their presentations lack evidence. No evidence in whatever presentation that we are making in court. So this is what happened in court today. More information, if there are more informations, we will definitely bring it to our people. But for now, Biafrans, be hopeful. By next week Wednesday, the PM Simon Ekpa will now be released on bail, and then he will now join us and continue to support this movement. Thank you so much for listening. It is always Biafra first.